Spirit Radio, Dan Style. That's right. Dan is here with you. It's been a while since I've done a show. Kind of had a crazy week going on, frankly. A lot going on. So that's kind of actually the topic of my show. So we'll, of course, cover, like always, the business, as I like to say, in my crappy accent. But that actually is kind of funny because it ties into my story, and I might touch upon some of those specifics. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just off the cuff on this particular show. Spirit Radio Dan Style, please subscribe. Click the little subscription button. Apparently you need like an email address or something. So if you don't want to, I get it. I had a friend that actually went and made a special account, the special like Gmail account, so she could actually subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I thought that was really cool. Lynn, thank you. That was very cool of you. I heard, is it Jana? I think it's Jana. I thank her also for the help she gave you. And I did thank her already as well. She told me the story. It's kind of funny. Anywho. That's beside the point. And if you want to contact me, please do so at spiritradiodanstyle@gmail.com. It's hard to make that sound all crazy, right? spiritradiodanstyle@gmail.com. All right, cool. I think we got it all covered business-wise. I'm calling this Facing Scary. I don't know, it's kind of stupid, but I think it's actually better than a better title than what a lot of the things, than what this really has to do with. I don't know. We'll call it what we call it, right? Okay, good. Glad we're all on the same page. Facing Scary. So it really kind of ties into what's been going on with me over the past 8 weeks, really, but like over last Saturday night. Saturday night, the 23rd. Was a very cool night, very interesting night. For those of you that see this stuff on my Facebook page, you've probably got an idea what I'm talking about. For those of you that somehow miraculously found this channel and don't know who I am, well, I'll explain it to you. How about that? So over the past 8 weeks, I've been taking was taking, because it's over now, a character development class. I do a little voiceover work for Clear Channel Radio currently, and I would like to branch out, do a little more that kind of stuff. So my sister had taken a couple improv classes, got to know this teacher. She's really cool. Her name's Shuri Kerr. I'll give her a plug because she's way worth it, and she's awesome. She's actually super famous in the business, if you will. And so I hit her up one of the days after my sister's performance and asked her if she knew anybody in the business that could maybe help me put together a demo. I'm just trying to, always trying to network, right? Got to meet people, got to get out there, shake hands, kiss babies, the whole thing. And she, said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 and I know all sorts of stuff. What you should do is take my character development class, which was starting in like a week and a half, 2 weeks or something like that. And I go, yeah, sure, what the hell? I love acting. Used to do it when I was younger, right? Took a little choir when I was younger, did some acting when I was younger, did a play when I was out in Tennessee doing radio. I've done some stuff. I'm not, like, bragging, and by no means should it be taken that way because there's nothing to brag about. But I've done some. I love it. It's once you get that acting bug in you. For those of you that haven't done it, wow, it's awesome. I'd say do it. If you get an opportunity ever to do it, it's just amazing. Even if you're scared, and that's the point of this whole thing, right? So keep that in mind. If you're scared of doing something, 99 times out of 100, that's like a dead giveaway that you need to do it. Seriously. If you're scared, you're like out and you hear a strange noise in the woods and you get scared, that's different, okay? That's a different kind of scare. That's like, to go back to shows we've done, that's more of like a third chakra kind of fear, second chakra, first chakra kind of fear. Like that's like your life's in danger, right? Be careful. But when we're talking about, I gotta, end a relationship, or I gotta stand up in front of a bunch of people and give a talk, or I've gotta, go start a new job, or whatever it is that's like freaking you out, that's the good kind of scared. That's the kind of scared that, honestly, when it shows up in your life, you're like, you should tell yourself, you should remind yourself, okay, this is a growing experience. This is going to be awesome. On the other side of this doorway is something amazing. That's why I'm scared. I'm scared because essentially that's the universe's way of saying, go this way. That's exactly what's happening. Universe is like, dude, it's got like flashing signs, arrows pointing at it. It's like, this is the door. Go through this door. And you're looking at the door going, that door scares the hell out of me. That's a guaranteed go that way, all right? So, yeah, 8 weeks. Basically, I took this character development class. And in the process of taking the class, we had to develop 4 different characters. One of them had to be a female, basically, or an opposite sex character. We had 3 girls in the class, 3 guys in the class, so all of us had to do an opposite sex character. So I had a character that was like a workout guy, and these are all characters, by the way, that we made up, right? We just got on the stage the very first class, and we laid on our backs, and she's like, all right, close your eyes and get to know these crazy people inside of you. And that's pretty much what I did. Got in there, and I was like getting to know some of these people, shaking hands, you know, and networking within my mind. And I got to know, there's a number of them actually, but the four I ran with. One of them was like a network, a fitness guru, kind of like really into working out. And we had to write bios and all, so I'm not going to get into all the boring details. I'm just sharing the stuff because it was fun and I had a good time. But his name was Ned Bagley. And his voice was kind of like this. He sort of talked to, like this. I call it my imitation of Beetlejuice. So anyway, that was Ned Bagley's voice. And that was fun, It was like that was one of my characters and really kind of developed and worked through him. He had all sorts of little tweaky, quirky things about himself. It was very funny. I came up with a character named Don Brody, and he was basically a sportscaster. And his voice was just really loud. I guess I'll step away from the mic and sort of demonstrate, but that was the whole point of his thing. Is he has like always got like that game voice, like he's announcing the game. He's always talking like it's big deal. It's a big important thing out there, right? That's just that overdone, ridiculous voice, way too loud. I was like 3 feet back from my microphone, which this thing is pretty sensitive. Well. I got to be up close to it to get it to work. It's not really sensitive. It's the other side. So Don Brody was a lot of fun, right? Got up and did him. We also had a character named Nad Sratep, and he was supposed to be Swedish, but I could never nail the Swedish accent. Talk about being scared, right? This was the major blockage with this whole ordeal. 2 weeks I stressed about this character, hardcore stressed about this character, mind you. And Nad Sratep he was supposed to be Swedish. I spent all this time listening to Swedish accents, Swedish people talking, and they've got a very sing-songy voice. I could do certain words, at least I could. It's been, I've been a couple weeks since I've even bothered listening. But I could do a few words, but I couldn't do sentences. I couldn't, you could hand me something to read, and I couldn't do it. And I certainly couldn't ad-lib in that. So I can kind of do a crappy French accent, and we went ahead and went with that. My teacher wanted me to do it in a higher pitched voice. She wanted me to purse my lips when I did it. So that was like what I kept trying to practice, and I was having a hard time. It was really funny is when I get my voice up too high, I had this tendency to start straying off into a British accent, which is also equally crappy. Don't get me wrong. It's not good at all, but it's certainly not French, and it sounds more British-like. Sounds British. So, yeah, it's kind of ironic how those things all play out. And again, I think it's like the characters in my head. This is what I came to with it all. The characters in my head, they're, certain ones, and the voices is kind of what the characters are, right? And as I start getting that voice up into that higher range, that becomes the British character within me, which I did not do. I did not spend any time with the British character, and I might want to. I don't know. He's probably a very interesting fella. But needless to say, we did a French accent, and this kind of gets funny too, but his name was Ned Sratep, and he talked in an accent like this and very much sounded like this, and this was who he was. He was a museum curator, and he was a fascinating guy. More fascinating than you could ever understand, but that was Ned Sratep. And it was fun. I had a blast doing him. Now, the chick was Annie Amrite, and she was awesome. So she just had a really high voice. Not a big deal. Just me trying to, whatever. That's just me trying to talk in a high voice, but whatever. I totally dolled up in makeup and stuff. It was epic. I mean, I am an ugly, ugly woman. No question about it. Whatever, you can tell me what kind of guy I am looking, whatever. That's fine, but I am an ugly woman. No question about it. So my point is, in all of this, we spend these 8 weeks, and it's great. Get up on stage, and there's 6 of us and a teacher. It's not a big deal. I'll perform in front of 6 people. There's been a few times where it's maybe a little embarrassing, but whatever, right? Get up in front of them. It's kind of good. It's good to get on stage. Kind of good to be someone else, be a little crazy. The night of the performance, though, different story, right? Saturday, it's performance. Yesterday, for that matter. And I'm kid you not, I went down and I was hanging out at the coffee place in the morning, talking to some people, just shooting the breeze. I had a friend. I was shooting the breeze with her for a little bit, and everything was groovy, talking. I knew it was coming, but I'm like, it's good, man. It's going to go great tonight. Looking forward to it. A little nervous, but all in all, it's going to go really well. And as the day progresses, I got to go pick up my sister because my sister was in it with me. And I had to pick her up at what was it, 2:40, I think I had to be at her house, right? So I got to say from 2 o'clock to 2:30, right before I left, she lives close, I was pacing the house, literally pacing the house back and forth. It's kind of long and rectangular in my house. So I have, a decent length to pace, and I was pacing the entire length of my place. Stressing, and it just built and built and built. So it's great, right? And then we were like, okay, cool. And we finally get to the theater, and we're doing a run-through, or what they call a cue to cue, which is, cue is like, okay, we're doing the first scene, and then right after the first scene's done, you guys are going to bring chairs out, and then you're going to come up and listen. I'm going to introduce, and then you're going to come out on stage. And so we kind of ran through the show very, very quickly, didn't really do the bits, didn't do the whole thing, but touched upon it, right? So we're kind of moving through it, and every one of us, it's so funny, every one of us went out on stage, and our teacher, she was a little nervous because she kind of gets in manager mode nights of performances, apparently. I've heard this is kind of common on normal shows. But for some of us, it was a little like, wow, what's going on? She's been so like totally different up until tonight or this afternoon. And now all of a sudden she's being kind of harsh, It's like, wow. So a lot of us would walk in the back. And we're like, I'm going to suck tonight. I'm going to blow. I'm so, wow, this sucks. And so going, okay, well, we got to do it because there's no getting out of it at this point, right? So I think showtime, we finally finished all of our cue to cue about an hour and a half before show. We all decided we were going to go out and get some fast food because it was close by. So we walk over to, I think it was Jack in the Box. Yeah, it was Jack in the Box. Not that it matters, but it was. So we went to the Jack in the Box, had some food, chow, boom, boom. About 15, 20 minutes later, we're walking back. And then all of us kind of get into our first costume. And then we just sit. And we were all ready. The show starts at 7:30. We were all in costume and ready at 7. So all of us are kind of going through our little rituals, right? A little like tapping the feet, walking back and forth. I, of course, was fond of the pacing method and just all sorts of crazy stuff. So we get going. And again, it's all like this like fear, right? It's like this fear, this anticipation, this nervousness. Everyone else was trying to say they weren't nervous. I was the only one. I honestly felt that was being honest and saying, I'm totally nervous. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. I'm nervous. So, it finally comes down to it. Showtime starts. First scene didn't involve me. Second scene did. And, it was great. It was like once it got going and I got out there on my first scene and we just started kind of going through it, everything worked out amazing. I mean, it could have been better. Sure, you let me do it again another night. You let me do it 2 more times, and it would have just gotten better. I would have honed in. I would have gotten a little better. But a lot of this stuff was kind of like based off of what the audience said. They picked our scenes. They picked what we were going to improv about. So really, it was like we had to know our characters well enough and just get out there and fake it and just kind of do it. And we did. And all 6 of us did awesome. We did amazing. There was a few scenes that were just fantastic. In fact, when I walked out there, me and this guy named Al went out and did our 2 female characters, and we were out there, and then there was one other person that was going to come out, and we were going to give her dating advice. She's like our niece, and she's like 17 or something like that, and we're like 2 older ladies that are just whores. I mean, absolute whores. It was fantastic playing that too. It was so much fun. But we got out there, and both of us are in full costume, wearing makeup. I had a wig on. He had a wig on. Both of us were wearing wigs. And right when lights came up, because we're sitting on the stage, right when lights came up, everyone in the audience just starts laughing. And we just kind of rolled with it. We just kind of, looked off in the distance. I was like fixing my hair. I was like pursing my lips, looking all, trying to look like a woman, basically, right? But I'm a guy imitating a woman. Just like when women imitate guys, it's usually very funny. But we did it, right? And we pushed through it. Show ends. My final scene was with Nadsratep. And I was supposed to do the high-pitched voice, man. I was supposed to be like, I'll try my best to imitate what it's supposed to be. I was supposed to be talking in a higher-pitched voice and do it in a French accent, and then purse my lips and talk through just the front of my mouth, and this is how the accent was supposed to go. That was the voice I was supposed to do. As soon as it started, I started high, and then, by the way, they called it 4 people from the audience that I was supposed to be giving a tour of a museum. They asked the audience what kind of museum it was. I'm finding this out just seconds before going out on stage. So the audience, the 4 members, 4 ladies, all were getting a tour of a dinosaur museum, apparently is the one I work at. And I walk out, and like the first couple words were in that higher-pitched voice, and then it immediately dropped down into a voice like this, and I became a lot more reactive. My lips were no longer parsed like they were supposed to be. I totally just blew it, basically blew it. But I just went with it. I ran with it. I stuck with it. And it worked. Got a lot of applause, a lot of laughter. It was very funny. I wasn't even supposed to be using hand gestures, and I totally was because the character that was supposed to use hand gestures wasn't. It was funny. So I guess my point in all of this is we've got to face the fears. And even though we can plan it out to the best of our abilities, even though we can decide everything that's supposed to happen, it seldom happens exactly as we want to. And it always works out perfectly. That's the important part. It didn't happen the way I thought it would. It didn't happen the way we rehearsed. It didn't happen the way I planned it. But it happened perfectly. Okay? So just keep that in mind when we're scared of something. It's a definite giveaway that this is a direction we need to go. So I wish anyone that's listening to this, think about that. This scares me. I don't know what's on the other side. I'm scared about X, Y, and Z. I'm scared about what it's going to be like after I do X. I'm scared about standing in front of people. I'm scared about talking. I'm scared, whatever. Face it. Face that fear. Do it. Find a way to do it. If you're feeling that trepidation about it, it's telling you this is something you need to go through. Because once you do it, you won't be scared of it anymore. And you'll also notice and be more empowered, but you'll notice everything kind of works out. It's really cool. That is the takeaway. Unfortunately, after a performance, then you kind of go through this like depression almost. Today was kind of a tough day because you got this super high and then it's done and then it's over and then you're just like, man, I miss it. But, that is how it goes. That's performance. And I think any performer will acknowledge that. That live performance and that live theater and then the show's over. It's like, well, you have your cast party usually, and then after that, it's done. Done. You're lucky if you ever see these people again. So, life is very, very interesting. Facing scary. That's what we're talking about today on Spirit Radio Dan Style at gmail.com. Of course, if you want to communicate, or just Spirit Radio Dan Style. Is that what? Dan Radio Style, that's my channel. Good Lord, you think I'd learn these things by now? I've only done like 40 videos or whatever. Dan Radio Style. So we'll start getting back into the swing of things. I'm going to be out of town this coming weekend, but outside of that, it should be everything should work out in a very groovy kind of fashion. Should be able to get back into some sort of normalcy, if you will. And I think I'm going to be taking the improv class coming up as well. So that should be very exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got a little something out of this. It wasn't just me talking about it. It was kind of hopefully sort of a metaphor for what all of us are going through in life. And I know a lot of people that are going through crazy things in their life right now that are they're scared, they're nervous, they're concerned, they're afraid of what's on the other side. Face it, this is a great time. Really, just kind of got to change your thought process about it. And just accept the fact that the sooner you start facing that, the sooner you can move through it, and the sooner you can see what's on the other side, and the sooner you can get to the next scary thing and just continue to develop and grow and become the amazing person that you already are. It's already inside of you. You just need to experience it so you know it, so you have that wisdom. Knowledge is reading a book. Knowledge is like, oh, yes, I understand that. Wisdom is understanding and practice. It's understanding that you've experienced in real life. So now you know it, right? That's wisdom. So the sooner you gain that wisdom, the sooner you're that much further along on your journey. It's a fantastic thing. Hope you guys enjoyed Facing Scary on Dan Radio Style. Thank you so much. We'll do another show soon. I appreciate it. Bye.